Welcome back to Face the State on this Sunday morning. Governor Lamont has created a workforce council. It includes 12 CEOs, some 24 members. The chair is Garrett Moran, who is with us today. Mr. Moran, thank you for being here with us on the program.
Nice to be here.
First of all, tell us a little bit about the council, what it is and what's its vision and what's its goal. It's
a committee of volunteers who are meant to advise the governor on workforce strategy, to develop a plan to help knock down the silos among state government agencies and to energize alignment among all the players in the state, the employers, the agencies, the community-based organizations, educators, and so forth.
And tell me about your background.
I had a 30-year career on Wall Street. I'm a public school kid, one of 9 kids. I did Wall Street for a long time and then stopped to run a workforce program for inner city kids for the last 5.5 years.
You know, there are some who say that Connecticut is unfriendly to business. Is that a fair assessment?
I think it's no, I don't think so. I think it seems fashionable to complain about the state of affairs. I only know it from the inside of the Lamont team. It's very gung-ho business. So we certainly have had leaders in the state, businessmen tell us, or business leaders tell us, they haven't had a visit from someone in the governor's office for a long time. That's changing. So it may have been the case in the past. It sure isn't now, from my perspective.
So you have 24 people in this council. Tell me about them.
Right.
Where'd they come from?
12 of them are CEOs from companies around Connecticut, and they're big companies and small companies. 4 of them are manufacturing related, but we have digital, financial, you name it, health services and so forth. So we're trying to represent the economy of the state. And the other 12 members are, it's prescribed by the federal legislation that provides the funding from the federal government. 2 union leaders, a couple of K-12 educators, a couple of college presidents, a representative of philanthropy. So again, trying to represent a very broad swath and make sure that we get everyone's point of view.
When Governor Lamont chose you and put you all together, what did he tell you he wants to see accomplished?
He wants to make it, he wants to do as good a job as we can do of making it easy for companies to confidently invest in Connecticut with the knowledge that they will have a skilled workforce, and at the same time use this opportunity of high economic growth and stress need for workers to create as much opportunity as we can for those in Connecticut who have not had the best shot in the past.
The governor seems to think that this will create jobs, this council. Do you agree? And
yeah,
how many do you foresee growing?
Absolutely.
Like in the next year?
I don't have a number. I started thinking of working on this about a month ago. But you can see that there are things that we can do that will create jobs for sure. There are very high return marginal activities that we can do that will certainly create opportunity. We have pent-up unfulfilled demand, so all we have to do is get people trained up and situated for those jobs. So it's about being smart and quick and aligned.
Tell me about this demand.
The biggest growth area in the economy broadly is in the Middleskills sector, which is those who have more than a high school degree but less than a 4-year diploma. It reflects the explosion in the IT world, in advanced manufacturing, and in healthcare. Quite often there are people looking for someone with an industry certificate and they can't find it, so they haven't been trained up to the point where they can go into that job where they can earn 30 or 40 or 50 grand and hit the deck running.
If you had to talk to a CEO from another state who had a company in another state and was thinking of expanding and you wanted to persuade them to come to Connecticut, what would you tell them are our assets and our attributes?
We have a very highly educated workforce. The data supports the notion that we have a highly educated, sophisticated workforce. Depending on the business, you make a different case. The quality of life is spectacular. I mean, those of us who have lived in Connecticut and want to keep living here are very attached to that. Mm-hmm. I think those are 2 big leaders, and we're right in between 2 of the most happening cities in the world, Boston and New York. So if you want access to all of that, it's readily there.
And if you had to tell the governor, well, that's all well and good, but we need to improve X, Y, and Z, what would those improvements be that you believe the state should make to make Connecticut more enticing to business?
We need to fix transportation. We need to make it easier to get to and fro within the state and to those big cities that I just mentioned. I think we have to do a lot of the work that we're doing here in workforce. We need to make it easier for businesses to hire. There's undeniably a long-term budget deficit from legacy unfunded pensions that we have to have a visible plan that we're pursuing rigorously in a disciplined way. If we have willy-nilly tax increases, we're going to blow the confidence of business and investors and people who want to decide whether to live here.
In your judgment, what's the best way to improve transportation between, let's say, Hartford and New York and Hartford and Boston?
I have to say I haven't been on the transportation team. I'd probably get in trouble if I started talking about that.
But you agree this is one of the things that does need to be worked on?
Absolutely.
Do people complain about it to you all the time? Like, what specific complaints do they have? That the highways are too congested, or there's not enough trains?
It's both. It's my options to get from, I live in Greenwich, the options to get into the city have deteriorated in the last generation. The train's slower and the highways are more congested. And I think there are things that we can do that we have to get after as a state. But again, I'm speaking from the bleachers here on transportation. I haven't really done any work on it.
Are there any businesses across the country that you feel will be a good fit for Connecticut that are in expansion mode right now that could be persuaded to come here?
You mean individual companies?
Yeah, that might be a good fit.
I haven't really thought about it that way. My mission really is to do a lot of the things that we can do that broadly will get it so that we have a surplus of ready workers for any company that wants to come. And I mentioned some of the big sectors. For us, we have an awesome advanced manufacturing base. They're crying out for help. We need to help them. We want to make sure their suppliers think Connecticut in terms of setting up shop. Myriad digitally driven businesses, IT driven businesses, and then healthcare. Those would be the big categories. And the work that we're doing in workforce mostly relates to raising up folks into middle skills and upper middle skill jobs to make that an easy decision.
Some have argued, too, to attract more young people, more millennials to our state, or to get those who are here to stay, we need stronger, more vibrant cities. Do you agree with that? And will the council will take any role in that at all?
Yeah. I mean, our work is coordinated with the Department of Economic Development and CERC, the Economic Research Group. So where workforce ends and where economic development begins is a question. We're working closely with them to figure out how to do that. So it's absolutely an agenda of our group, but we would normally, I think, have the economic development team leading the charge, and we're playing a supporting role.
Why do you think Massachusetts is booming right now and Connecticut is not? What can we learn from them, and what can we do?
Yeah, I think they made some good strategic investments in some sectors, but they also have, undeniably, they have a single big city. And good infrastructure. They have a surplus of great universities where the explosions in technology and just entrepreneurial activity has been, they've created a great environment for that. So they have some competitive weapons that are there and have been there a long time. And it fits very well with where the economy is going.
Can the state and perhaps the council work more closely with universities here to perhaps help achieve that goal?
Absolutely. That's right up at the top of the list. And the reception that I've gotten going around the state and meeting college and university presidents and businesses has been fantastic. They're all dying to do more of what they're doing, and they're all dying to have a more highly coordinated activity. So that's going to definitely be a leading avenue for attacking our problems.
Garrett Moran, Chairman of the Workforce Council. Best of luck, and we appreciate you coming on the program today.